Development Coalition's Executive Vice President for Aerospace and Defense. She is also the Managing Director of the Military and Federal Sector for Jobs Ohio. In both roles, she works to preserve and protect the federal assets in the Dayton region and statewide. In her role, she also leads statewide efforts to champion advanced air mobility initiatives via programs such as Agility Prime. Elaine has over 2 decades. Okay, now you started before you got to daycare, I'm sure. So Elaine has over 2 decades of experience in the U.S. Air Force, and thank you for your service, Elaine. Finishing her career as Deputy Chief of the Human Systems Program Office at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Elaine is an Air Force Academy graduate with a degree in aeronautical engineering. She also has a master's degree in aerospace from the University of Maryland, and she was an assistant professor for aeronautics at the Air Force Academy. May I present to you Elaine Bryant.
Thank you so much, Sharon. This is really quite a treat and an honor to be here with all of you today, our speakers, and also, of course, our audience members. So thanks to you for taking the time. I also want to thank Dorinda Byers, who, as Sharon mentioned, we made the connection. Also Sharon Hopkins, who I've met with a couple times, and really the enthusiasm that this team has for the work that is being done at PTAC is just amazing. And it's great to be collaborating with you. And to our speakers, Jane Stewart and Terrell Knight, thank you for taking the time to speak with the group about what you all do. I'm just going to take a little bit of time to tell you about my 2 roles that I play here, both locally in Dayton, but across the state. As at the Dayton Development Coalition, I wake up living, breathing, and thinking about Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Springfield Air National Guard, and the VA, and all our military and defense federal assets in the region, and how do we preserve, protect, and ensure that those missions have what they need from the community in order to prosper and continue to grow here in our region. And so it's just been an exciting 18 months since I signed up for the job after retiring. And, you know, I knew Dayton was amazing, but it's really been great to see all the opportunity and how the community has embraced the base. In that mission, there's also industry. So Sharon mentioned that PTAC services the small businesses, the primes, any size, whatever companies are looking to do business with the federal government. So that's why in my role and in what the folks that you'll hear from today on PTAC do, we recognize that this was a very strong partnership, that we continue to bring our groups together, that we continue to bring industry partners and other collaborators to this discussion, because these PTAC services are offered to those small businesses, to those entrepreneurs, to those folks who have been out there in the commercial world, you know, working on some amazing technologies, and they may not realize that there could be a federal application or a military application. As the Air Force and now the Space Force as they move forward into high technology, weapon systems, software development, those types of things, we really need those commercial industry partners, those small businesses, those folks that traditionally don't do business with the military, to be part of looking at what are the opportunities, how do we partner, how do we become a part of, you know, an SBIR collaboration with the DoD, how do we look to partner with universities to get STTRs. And so having the folks here at PTAC be able to explain what they do, and you'll be wowed by their numbers and everything, I think it's a really great partnership. And then just real quickly, in my statewide hat, it's the same concept, except now I'm looking across the state at, you know, everything from Cleveland and NASA, Glenn, also Youngstown, Toledo, the reserve base up there, and also the Lima tank plant. I could go on and on because our assets here in the entire state of Ohio are many, but really what I wanted the big takeaway here is that services like those offered through this PTAC program allow companies to partner with their local military and federal installations as well. So while Sharon and Jane and Terrell and the team, they're going to help you partner, you know, and look for opportunities in all of the federal or military realms in government. What I'm encouraging is we want to keep the NASAs, the Wright Pats, the Youngstown Air Reserve stations, we want to keep taking care of them. And we do that by having local Ohio companies partner with them, whether it's that small contract to maybe mow the lawn, or whether it's that big contract to deliver the next software. We want Ohio companies partnering with Ohio military and federal installations. And that's why I think this partnership is so important between my roles and the role that the PTAC has. And so with that, I just want to thank you all again. I will have to, I won't be able to stay on for the entire duration, but I do want to let you all know that are listening in that if you need to reach me, my email is ebryant@daytonregion.com. So feel free if you have any questions on my role here at DDC or Jobs Ohio, and I will look forward to continuing to work with our PTAC team and the partnership that we've developed here. So back over to you, Sharon.
Sharon, you're muted.
See if I can handle technology. Thank you so much, Elaine. With that, we're going to turn it over to Mr. Terrell Knight, and he will begin our presentation today. And again, please put your questions in the chat, and we will try to address all of them at the end of the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Terrell Knight. I am the procurement specialist with the Ohio University PTAC. And alongside with me presenting today, I have my associate director from Northeast Ohio, Jane Stewart. Thank you so much to the Dayton Development Coalition, as well as the Ohio University PTAC for putting this together today and having us join us for this wonderful presentation. Thank you all for attending today, and I hope that you all take some valuable notes, some valuable information from this information presented to you today, and that we'll be able to grow and prosper from here. Well, for this, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, pull up the presentation here. There we are. So the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. Procurement Technical Assistance Centers help Ohio businesses seeking to compete for federal, state, and local government contracts. The program is part of a nationwide Procurement Technical Assistance Centers created by the U.S. Department of Defense, administered by the Defense Logistics Agency's Small Business Office. In Ohio, the Ohio Development Agency manages the program, which is hosted and executed by community-based universities and organizations serving local businesses. To learn more about that, please click on the following links, development.ohio.gov, or you can go to the DLA to learn more information. Results and growth. In 2007, Ohio University PTAC served 17 counties. As of today, 62 of Ohio's 88 counties are served by the Ohio University PTAC program. We have over 1,000 active clients receiving counseling from Ohio University PTAC, and those clients have received a total over $1 billion in contracts within the last year. So why go into federal contracting? Well, let's consider this. Federal contracting and government contracting in general is a huge market. It's huge market. Over $500 billion in revenue is generated through federal contracting alone every year. It's a on-time payment for those clients that are doing work with the government. A great repeat customer. Bringing in those dollars to Ohio and into your top line, as Elaine mentioned, you want to make sure that you bring in those top dollars to yours, to bring in those dollars to your top line, as well as bringing those dollars to the state of Ohio and working specifically with those agencies that are in Ohio to help grow and develop those agencies. Some companies out there are getting this work, so why aren't you? Making a decision. What does the government buy? The government typically practically buys everything. So there is really no stone that can go unturned when it comes to government contracting. It's figuring out how to navigate the government contracting space to figure out where your niche market is and then be able to explore that to expand your market base. What is your core competencies? Are you a jack of all trades and a master of none, or are you really good at something? It's important for you to define your core competency and your niche within the federal government and government contracting space to find and garner the most success. Is your commercial market strong? Do you have the adequate financial resources to begin to do work in the government space? And are you willing to make that investment? It is an investment. Not only is it a financial investment, it is an investment in time. Government contracting is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not a short distance run. It really is a marathon race where you have to put in that training and equity and that sweat equity to be able to be successful in government contracting. It's not impossible, but it is a challenge and a task within itself. So let's look at some breakdowns of purchasing by government agencies. That the Navy is spending almost $120 billion in 2019 alone in government spending with small businesses. All of the other agencies listed there, as you go down the chart, are also doing exceptionally well in the billion-dollar range with doing business with small businesses. 2019 sales by NAICS codes, your NAICS codes, computer systems designs, commercial institutional building construction. As you go down the list there, you see where the dollars are being spent. If you have a NAICS code that falls within one of these categories and you're not doing business with the government yet, please contact your local PTAC office to be able to get yourself situated and get yourself started with doing government contracting. Spending goals. Each year, the U.S. government spends billions of dollars purchasing goods and services from private sector firms. About 23% of small businesses 23% is the goal that the government has for spending with small businesses. 5% of that goes to a set-aside program for women-owned small businesses. An additional 5% goes to AA small businesses and disadvantaged firms, 3% to hub zone firms, and 3% to service disabled veterans. Uh-oh. Let's talk about the state of Ohio specifically. As you see there, total sales over the last 5 years is over $11 billion in total sales for small businesses in the state of Ohio alone. So the state of Ohio is knocking it out the park, and you want to make sure that you're amongst that company and your numbers are included within that number to be able to be sure that you are doing the right thing and that you are getting those government contracts with the state of Ohio and the federal government. Here is a breakdown for you by county. And next, I'll turn it over to Jane Stewart, who will talk about how to research your market.
Thanks, Terrell. The first step is you have to research your market. You have to figure out what agencies are buying what you offer, how frequently they're buying, how they're buying, and who's getting the contracts currently. You got to know your competition. The first step is you need to identify the NAICS codes that fit what you have to offer. The NAICS codes, North American Industrial Classification System. These are the codes that identify the type of business you have. Solicitations are generally categorized by the NAICS code. So once you figured that out, there are several places that you can go to get past perform or get previous contract award information. Beta.sam is where contracts over 25,000 are posted for competition. And beta.sam also now incorporates the fpds.gov system, the Federal Procurement Data System. That's where all agencies are required to enter the contract award information for contracts that have already been awarded. So beta.sam.gov is an important website. Another one is usaspending.gov. And if you're a manufacturer, you provide machine shop items, then you want to go to DIBS, the DLA BSM Internet Bid Board System. That's where open procurements, drawings, and specifications and bidding is done for the Defense Logistics Agency. Next. Okay, procurement methods. There are several ways that the government does their purchasing. There's sealed bidding, request for proposal, micro purchases that are used with credit cards, GSA schedules, which are essentially a pre-approval of the product or service and the company's pricing structure. To go into more detail, the government purchase card or micro purchases, the credit card holders are authorized to purchase up to $10,000 for supplies, construction services up to $2,000, and services in general up to $2,500. All these are referred to as the micro purchases. They are not required to advertise the need or to obtain anything that is being purchased with a credit card. The simplified acquisitions are between $25,000 and up to $250,000. Those opportunities are required to be posted on the betasam.gov. And then formal contracts or large contracts are over the $250,000 mark. They also have to be advertised and in the form of an invitation to bid or a request for proposal. Next. So if you want to learn more about all these fun acquisition methods, then I would encourage you to check out the Code of Federal Regulations, the Federal Acquisition Regulations, as those are the laws of doing business with the government and all of the different small business programs. If nothing else, it will put you to sleep when you can't sleep. But clauses are very important, and they are in every single solicitation that you will ever come across. Okay.
So thank you, Jane. So in order to get started, what do I do? What's the first thing that I do to get started with doing work with federal government? You want to make sure that your business is registered with SAM. SAM stands for System for Award Management. If you want to do business with the federal government, you must be registered in SAM. Can't overemphasize that enough. You must be registered in SAM. SAM is where you're going to be, where they produce a cage number for you. In order to get registered with SAM, there's a couple of things you must do before you get there. You must have a DUNS number. If you don't have a DUNS number, please visit the Duns & Bradstreet website, www.dnb.com, or call the phone number listed there. You must have a business checking account, and you must have that information readily available. You must have your tax identification number readily available. Understand and know your NAICS codes and understand what your primary NAICS code is going to be. And then also you will have to be able to register on the Small Business Dynamic Database, which will transfer your information from SAM to that database, which is housed with the SBA. Do not pay for SAM. There are a lot of things out there that is going to ask you if you want to pay for SAM, help you with your registration with SAM, et cetera, et cetera. Do not pay for SAM. SAM, anything as far as government contracting goes, should be free of charge. If you ever come across something that is asking you to pay for something or asking you to pull out your credit card, please stop there I would suggest that you contact your local PTAC office, so that way you can have a conversation with your local PTAC counselor and talk about why are you being asked to be able to pay for something that should be free. More than likely, your PTAC counselor will be able to help and assist you with anything that that those organizations and agencies can as well. So let's talk about the different certifications offered through the federal government and how they are may be important to your business. So there's a formal certification, which is the 8A certification, the Hub Zone certification. There is the mentorship program. There is a verification with the SBA, with the VA, the Veteran Affairs Association Administration. There is your small business certification, and then there's your woman-owned certifications as well. Agencies can set aside to any of the above groups if market research shows that they are adequate competition. Federal market research is done through the use of sources sought in the betasam.gov. The 8A program. In order to qualify for the 8A program, you must be at least 51% owned, operated, and controlled by a socially and economically disadvantaged individual who is a U.S. citizen. The business must be in business for at least 2 years or more. Have the sole source there are sole source contracts for 8A programs up to $4 million in service and construction, and up to $6.5 million in manufacturing. There's joint ventures and teaming, and as well as a mentor protege program that I'll talk a little bit more about here in the next couple of slides. The Hub Zone program. To qualify for the Hub Zone program, you must be at least 51% operated and owned by a U.S. citizen. The business must be physically located in a Hub Zone. 35% of all the employees 35% of employees of your employee base must live in a Hub Zone. That includes part-time employees as well. They must work up to a minimum of 40 hours a month to be considered an employee. For 35 of the 35 for the employees that live in the Hub Zone. 3% of government. There's a 3% spend with government-wide. The agency can restrict competition to Hub Zone certified companies, and there's a 10% price evaluation performance in certain circumstances and with competing with large businesses. Here is a Hub Zone map. To find out if your business is actually located in the Hub Zone, please visit the website down there, maps.certified.hubzone.gov, and type in your address. It will calculate for you and then let you know if your Hub Zone, if your business is actually physically located in the Hub Zone to see if you qualify. Women-Owned Small Business Program, the WOSB program. You must be 51% owned, operated, controlled by one or more women who are U.S. citizens. The woman or women who must manage the day-to-day operations. There is a 5% government spending goal with women-owned small businesses, and set-asides are designated by NAICS codes as well. The All Small Mentor Protege Program. To enhance the capabilities of protege firms by requiring approved mentors to provide business development assistance to improve the protege's capacity to successfully compete for federal contracts, learn and improve business practices, and explore export readiness and for international trade and contracts. For a mentor, the mentor must be a for-profit business of any size, not owned more than 40% equity in the business, cannot have no more than 3 proteges, and for the benefit of that is the mentor can compete for small business contracts. For the protege must be a for-profit business or agriculture cooperative, already have a mentor, at least one mentor, now more than 2 mentors in the lifetime of the program. And the benefit of that is access to a larger network for future contracts and the flexibility of various types of contracts to bid on. I'll turn it over to Jane to talk a little bit more about the veteran-owned program.
Thanks. The Veterans Administration has a program called Veteran-Owned Verification. The VA has a 10% goal to award contracts to service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses and a 12% goal to award contracts to veteran-owned small businesses. In order to compete for these contract set-asides, the company must be verified through va.gov/OSDBU. Next. For all other agencies, there is a 3% goal for service-disabled veteran-owned businesses and a 5% subcontracting goal for veteran-owned small businesses. This is done through a self-certification through sam.gov. The verification process for the VA, it can be a very lengthy process, and the business must be owned and controlled by either service-disabled veterans or veteran-owned small or veteran owners. The key point is controlled. The business owner has to have the day-to-day decision-making role in the company. As Sharon Smith mentioned earlier, the PTACs in Ohio have gone through training to be able to assist through the veteran verification process. So if you're a veteran, thank you very much for your service. I'm a Navy mom, go Navy. Please contact us if you're interested in obtaining this certification. Next. So where do you find opportunities? They're all out there, and it can be a challenge to locate them. Well, the easiest way to find opportunities is to become a PTAC client. We offer a free bid matching program where we can compile a list of keywords of the products and services a company offers, and every day that list will be searched against a gajillion federal, state, and local government websites. Once the bid run is done, you'll receive one email notification of the opportunities that match your business, and then we can assist you with obtaining more information and bid preparation, proposal development, and submitting a bid. As I mentioned earlier, contract opportunities that are over 25,000 are all posted on beta.sam.gov. And every agency has their own procurement website. And some agencies use a system called Fed Connect. And the daily bid matching system, it searches all of these websites to locate opportunities that are a fit for your company.
Sources sought notices and contract opportunities. So a sources sought is a solicitation of interest. Market research conducted by agencies to determine the capabilities and interests of the marketplace. If an agency does not get a response from the various categories of small businesses, it will not set aside a contract for those categories. So it's very, very important that you respond to sources sought notices whenever you see them, because the opportunity may be just around the corner for you if they find that there are a lot of businesses or enough businesses that are able to compete for the opportunity that is being described within the sources sought notice. So please, if you do see those sources sought notices and you need assistance with responding to them, please reach out to your local PTAC office and we'll be able to provide that assistance for you. Marketing to agencies. Use of your capability statement. Please, if you do not have a capability statement, please reach out to your local PTAC office. We'll help you put together a capability statement, but you want to be able to utilize your capability statement as a marketing tool to those agencies that you're looking to do business with. Email your capability statement always in a PDF format. If you do put it in a PDF format and you have hyperlinks for your websites or your social media sites or whatever those various sites may be, please make sure that those hyperlinks are active within your PDF. So that way someone can just easily click on that link and can be taken to that web page as described. Please do not send out your capability statement in mass emails. That is a big no-no, because you're going to be sending a capability statement out to people that may not even want to look at your capability statement. So you want to make sure that you're sending those capability statements out directly to the individuals and agencies that you're looking to do business with, and not in a mass general email setting. Agency contacts. So you want to make sure you're sending your capability statement to the agency contacts, as I just mentioned, instead of a mass email. So that would be your small business specialists, your contracting officers, your procurement center representatives, the PCRs, and your individual buyers. Is those who you want to make sure that you're marketing your business to within those agencies. Here's an example of a capability statement. We have a capability statement template that we utilize here at the PTAC. Please reach out to us and we'll be able to share this capability statement template with you, and then we're able to help you put together and formalize your capability statement to make sure that it is a good, viable capability statement for government contracting. Marketing to primes. Prime contractors, you want to look at your small business liaisons, check out their websites, doing business with us tabs, etc. Making sure that you understand what the prime is doing. Also, it's important to align your business with what your prime contractor is doing. Make sure that your mission statement is in line, your vision statement is in line to what your prime contractor is, because you want to work with someone who is similar in like your business. They want to feel comfortable because you're getting in bed basically with another business that you want to make sure that you guys know each other really well and you've done your due diligence as far as your research on that organization. You want to register as a vendor if they have a vendor registration. Look for events that they have coming up, vendor days, networking opportunities, matchmaking events. Make sure that you show your face and that you're attending these events, because these events and these networking opportunities is a great space and opportunity for you to get your business out there in front of the organizations and decision makers who may want to do business with you. Some do's and don'ts. Some do's. Definitely want to know your customer. Who buys your products and service? So you want to do your market research and understand who in the government agency, in the government space, buys the products and services of which you sell. How do they buy it and when do they buy it? What is the frequency? Know the rules. As Jane mentioned, you want to understand FAR, Federal Acquisition Regulations. Contract requirements and specifications. You want to make sure you're doing your due diligence and reading over those RFPs, those contract requirements and specifications, that you're not missing anything. So you're dotting all your I's and crossing all your T's, as well as getting some contract history. Who has won the contracts before? What did those companies look like? And how can you make sure that your business is set up and aligned to be just like theirs? Perform as promised. Always perform on time, deliver quality, and perform at the price in which you promised. Don't be afraid to ask questions and get clarification. The more you know, the better. Don't submit your proposal late. Don't be late for appointments. Don't be unreliable. Don't oversell yourself. Don't be unprepared. Don't drag your presentations out. Practice your elevator pitch. Elevator pitch should last no more than 30 to 60 seconds. If you don't have an elevator pitch prepared and ready to go and launch for your presentation of your business, talk to one of your local PTAC counselors. Will help you out with your elevator pitch. Do not submit sloppy paperwork. Do not be demanding or difficult to work with. Although I know we send out emails a lot and we want to make sure that we're getting all of our questions answered, but they also have other jobs that they do as well. So you want to make sure that you're not overbearing the individual and bombarding them with too much information or being overbearing and difficult to work with. And don't have unrealistic goals. Make sure you're setting realistic goals for your business, for the future of your business and the longevity of your business. And really realize that government contracting, if it really is a space for you to be able to thrive in. So make sure, what makes a procurement ready business? You have to have a viable business that sells products or a service, determine your NAICS codes, get your DUNS number, make sure you get registered in SAM, determine if you qualify for any of the set-aside small business certification programs, create your capability statement, and always, always, always make sure you get in contact with your local PTAC office to be able to provide the high level of assistance with guiding you through the government procurement process. At PTAC, what we do and our mission, we want to increase contracting activity between small businesses, prime government contractors, and the federal, state, and local government agencies. We provide service, tools, and trainings to help businesses with their government and procurement related needs. PTACs are kind of known as the eHarmony matchmakers of the government contracting world. We are there to be that middle person to kind of say, here's how you get success, and here's what you do, and here's what you don't do. If you never used eHarmony before, we're kind of like the middleman in between the dating world and getting in and understanding government contracting, if that makes sense. PTAC services are typically offered at no cost. So your success is our success. We are overly enthusiastic about making sure that our clients get government contracts, that we work together successfully and succinctly with them to be able to ensure the overall success of our clients. Your success is our success. We want to make sure that you're thriving and you're doing well, because that fuels and feeds our mission of what we do every day. The PTAC counselors here within the state of Ohio are very passionate about what we do. We're here to provide a high level of assistance to you, and we always, always, always have an open door ready to accept your business and any questions that you may have at any given moment. We provide one-on-one counseling services, professional customized services to assist Ohio businesses interested in obtaining contracts, awards. We help secure registrations for certifications, identify solicitations, sources sought, RFPs, etc. Bid match, as Jane mentioned, with our bid matching system that helps you look for bids that can be advantageous for your business, and you don't have to go through site after site after site to go and find those opportunities. Bid match is here to help you, and you will see that one email on a daily to weekly basis when those opportunities are about. We help with your marketing strategy and your marketing methods, some subcontracting opportunities, research into government markets and forecasts, workshops and seminars like the one you're attending today, and then also post-award assistance. So what happens after you win that award? What do you do next? What is the next steps for preparation for the next reward, and how to go about maintaining that client that you won as a customer? So where to find us? For Ohio University PTAC, we serve 62 of the 88 counties of the state of Ohio. Please visit our website at ptac.ohio.edu and click on new client registration right at the top. If you've come to find out that your company does not fall within one of those 62 counties at Ohio University PTAC, don't you fret. There's other PTAC centers within the state of Ohio. Please visit that website there to find your local PTAC within the state of Ohio. And if you're a business joining us today from outside of the state of Ohio and want to find your local PTAC, fortunately enough, we are a nationwide organization. So you should be able to find your local PTAC by visiting our ABTAC website at www.abtac-us.org. And for other contracting assistance, ABTAC will be able to provide that assistance for you as well. Thanks so much for joining us today. And if you have any questions, feel free to shout those out in the chat or unmute yourself, and we'll be able to answer those for you. Any questions?
We've had a number of questions come through. Let's see if I can sort through them. I was just typing up an answer one as you were talking. Thank you, first of all, to Terrell and to Jane for a wonderful presentation. And for all of our attendees, I know that was a lot of information that we were throwing at you. I have put several of the emails that we had mentioned in the chat. I put Elaine Bryant's email in there for those of you that wanted to contact Elaine in the Dayton Development Coalition. I also put the statewide PTAC website. The website that was included on the slides, it is a web page, but the more current and accurate information is at the find.govcontracts.ohio.gov. I also included Ohio University PTAC's website, which is an experience in and of itself. They have all kinds of information. You can look at where the $1 billion in contracts that we did for 2020 are, what areas of the state those occurred. You can see which of those are defense-related contracts and the like at that website. And I think I meant to put ptac.ohio/ no, that's inaccurate. ptacohio.edu, sorry. Again, you can go to either of those sites for information on where you can find your local PTAC, but also the recording for this presentation will be at the Ohio University PTAC website. So the first question, or it might be a comment since it's from Ronald, that I see is figuring out your DUNS and SAM.gov and making it work takes an act of God. Do you have any avenues to help us navigate the ether space and get all that working? And even though we have a type response to that, I'll look at Jane or Terrell if you'd like to address that question.
I will. The process, it is difficult. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It can be very frustrating and confusing if you're not familiar with the various systems. That's why PTAC is here. If you need help navigating any of the bureaucracy and the red tape and the websites and the certifications and everything else, all you need to do is reach out to your local PTAC. We can help you step by step, make sure you understand what is required, how to go about it. And our ultimate goal is to train you so you can be self-sufficient and you can navigate on your own and then let you go as you start to win contracts. You know, nothing is worse than being frustrated with this stuff, especially when you know that there is opportunity and your company could fulfill some of these needs. On the Ohio PTAC website, we have recordings of all the webinars that we have done, and those are available for viewing. We recently did a webinar specifically on the SAM registration that takes you page by page, step by step, that I think is useful. We also do events on a regular basis, and when we hold an event, all of our clients get the notification that it's coming up. Terrell mentioned post-award. Oftentimes, contracts are administered or administrated by DCMA, the Defense Contract Management Agency. Next month, we're doing a workshop on DCMA and what happens after you receive a government contract. So our training is ongoing. We are all here for one-on-one assistance. And best of all, we're free. You know, we're prepaid with your tax dollars. So if y'all don't reach out to us and let us know how we can help you, then we can't do our job. So please reach out and let us help you become a successful government contractor.
Thank you, Jane. The next question is related to that the SAM registration includes getting your DUNS and CAGE code. So I think you've addressed that well. If we have a company or business that provides services only, such as building plans, technical expertise, etc., does this information you're giving stay as pertinent? I see a lot of references to sales.
Yes, the information is pertinent because the government buys services as well. So it is good to take down and jot down the information that was given, because the government will be able to purchase your services as well as the products that you provide.
And if I could just add to that, the government buys everything.
Everything.
So it's just a matter of, again, sorting through which agencies buy what you sell, whatever that may be, services or products.
Right. And the great thing is it's all public information. You can obtain all of that intel.
And that's what the PTACs can help you to navigate. They can identify for you which agencies buy your services or products. Kurt asked, sole source values for 8A, is that measured at the IDIQ value or at the task order level?
I'm not quite sure how to answer that question.
Are you not understanding the question, Kurt? If you're still there, do you want to add some clarity to your question that you're posing?
I mean, there are different types of contracts, and the sole source, I know that there's a limit, and off the top of my head, I'm not sure what that is. So I think it depends on the contract and how it's worded.
And Kurt did say that Terrell showed a slide with values for the set-asides. So I think that answered it.
Yeah, and IDIQ is an indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contract. So there is no guarantee that there'll be any work from or any contract award as a result of an IDIQ. So if it's an IDIQ, then I would think that it would be at the task order level.
I saw a response or a suggestion in the chat that, and I'm asking the panelists, can you guys open it up so that the participants are visible and can interact? And I'll keep going in the meantime while you guys figure that out. Ronald asked us to provide a link for all the presenters' contact info and their websites, and I think we've addressed that. Sheree asked for, could you hub zone price preference FAR reference? Unfortunately, many contracting offices are not aware of this. So I gathered that Sri was asking for the HubZone FAR reference, and I put that in there, but if one of you would like to address it, I found the FAR reference, it's FAR 52.219-4, which is a notice of price evaluation preference for HubZone small business concerns.
Mm-hmm.
If,
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead, Terrell.
Oh, I was saying, I think that what you put in there will be adequate. It should be adequate enough to answer that.
Thank you. And if it isn't Tree, if there's more information that you need, of course, you can go ahead and type that in, and or go directly to your local PTAC. Ronald says betasam.gov is as easy to read or cipher as Sanskrit manual on brain surgery. And I responded, the PTAC is your brain surgeon in this regard, so we can help you through that process. Sharon Hopkins provided to Ronald that his PTAC person is Billy Grill, and Billy Grill is at our Dayton, Ohio University PTAC at Dayton. So you have a direct link to Billy, and Billy happens to be, in my opinion, the guru of Beta Sam. So you are fortunate in that you have the reigning guru for SAM that is your PTAC counselor, or can be your PTAC counselor. So Ronald goes on to say, all of this information is great. Many of us probably already knew a lot of this, I'm gathering. My problem is navigating the beast that is government contracting and knowing which number from which oversight agency is used on which site. I keep Googling PTAC in Ohio, and I get extraneous information on people to reach out to. Is there a PDF handbook with Barney-style instructions by the numbers? The bureaucracy of navigating the bureaucracy is overwhelming. And before I turn to our panelists who might have a comment on this, if I may say that hopefully that today's presentation has simplified that process for you. You know how to find your PTAC, your local PTAC. And should you call any PTAC number, we will get you to the right person. Registering for our services is very simple, and it's a seamless process throughout the state. And even though I said we're one of two programs, even our South Point peers they use the same process that we use for registering your business. So if you have need of PTAC services, and hopefully after today's presentation, you identified that this is quite an opportunity for you to get into the government contracting space, know that it is a simple process to get access to us and access to the tools and resources that you've heard that we provide to you today. And I'll look to Jane and Terrell and even Sharon if you guys want to say something more to that.
I would just say, I understand how frustrated people get, and reach out to PTAC. We can set you on the right path. We answer questions. That's what we do.
We have access to market research tools that we use to help you to navigate this entire process. Mm-hmm. We have access to these procurement or contracting officers, I should say, that we have been dealing with for years. They will even contact your local PTACs, asking them to help them to identify companies that can provide them with their needs at a particular time. And this was really highlighted during this pandemic, where we had a number of agencies contacting us to help them to identify someone that could provide them with very specific and unique needs. So we have an excellent relationship with particularly the government agencies that are based here in Ohio, but we have relationships with government agencies across the country. So again, I can't overemphasize contact your local PTAC. I said to Ronald in response to some of that, the PTACs are specialists in government contracting. It's our sole mission. We aren't scattered in terms of trying to help a business with their business development or their accounting or their financing or any of that. Our sole purpose is to help you through the government contracting process. So again, identify your local PTAC and get in there. And I can't overemphasize to the value that we provide to you at no charge of bid match. That is, once you identify those NAICS that you can provide, you will receive an email that lets you know when an opportunity comes up with those NAICS with a government agency. So Ron goes on to say, that's great and all, but if this process is so overly convoluted and complicated that it takes a member of PTAC to hold our hands, it is a bit self-defeating. And I think that's not the way to look at it. We are paid to assist you through this process, this contracting process. And Jane or Terrell, if you want to add something to that, please do.
Well, I've always felt our mission was to train our companies, give them the knowledge that they need, and at the end, you should be able to be self-sufficient and navigate the majority of contracting highways and byways on your own. And then when something comes up, we're always available for questions and to provide assistance.
Yeah, just don't be discouraged or don't be defeated. As I mentioned, it's a marathon. You know, it is a lot of bureaucracy, as you said, to go through, a lot of hurdles and hoops to jump through and over. But it is still an advantageous market space for any business that wants to do business with government. So you just have to keep chopping at the bit, keep working at it. Essentially, you're putting the car together while you're driving it down the street at the same time. But hey, the car still turns on and it works. So you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence and doing your market research, reaching out to your PTAC counselors and provide and get that information from them that they can provide to your business. But don't be discouraged. Keep going at it. We're here to help motivate you. We're also sometimes we can be counselors in a sense without as providing that level of business therapy to you so you can outlet those frustrations. But we're here to be as helpful to you as possible.
I like Jane's comment too. PTAC's role is to train our clients in government contracting procedures so you can become self-sufficient. Rusty, no questions, but many thanks. Ron found our information in the chat. So good morning, Shri Guti, and I hope I didn't, I hope that I pronounced your name correctly, with S Nova Solutions, Inc. Would love to connect and collaborate with other contractors. Honored to be named the Alabama 2020 SBA Small Business Person of the Year. Congratulations, Sri. And he also provides his contact information. He's almost put his capability statement in there. He's got his DUNS and his HubZone, DBE, SDB. I'll let you guys look at that. I think with the recording, and someone correct me if I'm stating this wrong, it also includes the chat. Is the chat recorded also?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Are you meeting in person now or just virtually? And did I skip a question about when's our next matchmaker? I did, I apologize. Would PTAC be doing any virtual matchmaker soon? If yes, when? I know that we are doing our annual Ohio Business Matchmaker that we typically had done in person in Dayton. We did it very successfully this past fall, virtually, and we are proposing to do the next matchmaker virtually this fall. I will make sure that the date is communicated. I think we're looking at November, but I will confirm that, and I will communicate to all of our attendees the proposed date, and it will be on all of the websites that have been mentioned once the date is confirmed. And we usually do a series of pre-matchmaker webinars leading up to the matchmaker that includes those how to do business with that you've heard about during this presentation, and a lot of the agencies that are looking to do contracting with you participate in those how to do business with. We've had NASA, we've had Wright Pat, we've had Air Force Material Command, AFRL, we've had Army, we've had, I can't think of some of the others that we've had. We've had Boeing, we've had DLA, Defense Logistics Agency, just any number of agencies participate in those how to do business with pre-event webinars. Okay, I'm scrolling down to see if I covered your questions. At the PTAC team from Sri, I know you all disabled to view other participants, but not a bad idea to open it up so other businesses can collaborate and virtually network. Just a thought. And I'm thinking that we couldn't do that for some reason, so because I didn't see us open up.
Right.
I would love a list of all of the participants on this call. I don't know if that can be made available. Is that Sharon? Can you, or Terrell? You're a host.
I'm not sure. We would have to get everyone's permission.
Okay.
Sharon
We,
Hopkins.
yeah, we typically do not provide a list of all of the attendees or participants in our trainings, just because we don't have permission from each and every one of them to do that.
Thank you. So depending on how the contract is set up, if it is BPA, then is it at the BPA level? Okay. If it is at the BPA level, if it is IDIQ, then at the task order level. I'm not sure if I understand the question, or do I need to read that again for you guys to be able to respond?
That goes back to the question about the 8A and IDIQ and the task order level.
So that question was answered. My question was whether that applies only to one-off contracts. Okay, that was a follow-up to
Right.
that question.
Yeah, they were providing input, which I'm glad I said basically the same thing.
Yeah, it's very unlikely an IDIQ will be awarded at sole source, or whether the limit applies to orders. So that's all related to that. Bob is responding to Sri and let him know that he'll be contacting him for discussions. And I think it's Sri that said, I can read Sanskrit.
I love that. I love that. Perhaps any of the participants who would like to be contacted with, or be contacted by any of the other participants, maybe they could put their contact information in the chat. Then that would solve, that issue.
Yeah, good idea, Jane.
Excellent. See, I told you guys she was an expert, didn't I?
Hey, I learned from Sharon Hopkins.
Is there a list of expired 8A contracts available for current 8A contractors so we can use this information to market directly with program offices?
Well, yes. You can go to the beta.sam.gov website and look for previously awarded contracts, and you can enter a wide variety of criteria. And not only can you find expired 8A contracts or any type of contract, you can also find contracts that will be expiring. And I would just like to mention again, the only way those contracts for any of the set-aside programs become set-aside contracts is by the contracting officer doing market research. So part of that market research is putting out a sources sought notice on beta.sam, and the majority of those notices go unresponded. And if companies who could be qualified don't respond, it won't become a set-aside contract. So it's in your best interest to respond to those notices. And the other thing is, Terrell talked about capability statements. You have to get those capability statements out there. You know, I said I was a Navy mom earlier, and when I go to visit my boys, I always try to make an appointment with the small business office at the base, and they all say the same thing. Tell people to send us their capability statement. Not only can that be used as part of market research, but if somebody needs to make a credit card purchase, oftentimes they'll go to the small business office of that facility and ask if they have any capability statements or know of any companies that can fulfill their need. So marketing is really important. Follow those sources sought notices and use that capability statement. It's practically a free marketing tool. So that's what I have to say about that.
Thank you, Jane. And then also, I just received a question. Can you tell us a URL to download a template for a capability statement? I think Terrell mentioned that during, so I'll just direct that at Terrell.
Yeah, just reach out to one of your local PTAC counselors and we'll be able to send you a capability statement template for you to utilize. It's very easy to manipulate and change information on. So once you receive that capability statement template and you put it together, send it back to your PTAC counselor for them to do a review and critique over it to make sure that it is all set to go for your utilization in government contracting.
Thank you, Terrell. Are there any other questions from, oh, yes. Feedback that I've given to contracting officers and small business advocates, excuse me, on the topic of responding to sources sought notices. It's a two-way street. Responding to these is a non-trivial effort, and when requirements are bundled, it would be helpful if customers would advise whether ability to satisfy part of the requirement is useful or not. I'm thinking that that when the requirements are bundled, it'd be helpful if customers receive that feedback on whether the ability to satisfy part of the requirement is useful or not. Any of you want to comment? Any of our panel want to comment on that?
I would just say you want to make sure you're doing your due diligence and responding to those sources sought notices, as Jane mentioned. Yeah, you want to make sure that you're and then you're filling it out and you're responding in totality. If you make sure you're reading it in fullness and that you are fulfilling all of the requirements within it. Because if not, you're missing out, or you may be missing some information that may be pertinent to the overall creation of the bid. So you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence and make sure you're responding with a thorough response to your source of salt notices. And it is a two-way street. I will say that because they're looking for the opportunity and you're doing the work and to respond. So you know, continue to do those things. I know sometimes it may look like it leads to nowhere, but you never know what opportunities may come about from it.
I would also say that when you're responding to a source of SOT, if you identify that you can do part of the work, not all of it, but a part, that could be written into the solicitation, that multiple awardees will be, or multiple awards will be made. But unless they get this feedback, then you know, they can't make those decisions.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks to both of you. I also have the statement from BRMO. Reach out to PTAC for capability statement. The URL for a template would be great. I gather that BRMO does not want to reach out to someone who I also am not sure how to do. Unfortunately, is the bureaucracy that I'm trying to work around. If I may say that we can just, if you only want us to provide you with a template for a URL, put your email in there and we can do that. But I think you are missing quite an opportunity to receive the services, again, at no charge to you, that the PTACs can provide to you that will assist you in critiquing that capability statements. Again, we are very familiar with what these agencies are looking for, and we can critique the capability statement that you put together to ensure that it is meeting the needs of these agencies that you are marketing yourself to. That this is a capability statement that they're going to review. It provides them with the information to determine if your company and your capabilities meet their needs. So again, we can do it like you want it, but I would hope that you would like to take advantage of the resources and services and tools that we can provide to you.
And let me see if I can share the file, and if that's okay with you, Sharon Hopkins, if I can share the file within the chat for the capability statement template.
I don't know how to do that.
So
Yeah,
even while
it may not let me, because I know I can do it in my private meetings. I don't know if I can do it on the webinar though, but okay. Yeah.
I don't think you can, but I did put in the state website. So we are all set up to serve a particular service area of the state. So we serve specific counties within the state. And if you go to the www.find.govcontracts.ohio.gov, and that's been listed in the chat now several times, you can look at your location and find the PTAC office closest to you and reach out to them.
And if you're not in Ohio, there are PTAC offices across the country.
there is a PTAC near you, yes, for sure. Thank you both. Bundling is easy. Bundling eases program management on customers' end, but runs counter to small business utilization. For example, A&E or architecture and engineering or environmental often includes many, many disciplines of which we might cover one. I find that most contracting officers are only interested in respondents who can cover the entire SO statement of work and not parts of it, because they don't want to create separate contracts to break up the requirement. And I know, Jane, you just touched on that. So if you'd like to respond.
Well, you don't know unless you put it out there. You know, I think it's important to respond and bring up that you can provide part of it. I have seen where contracts have been made to have been awarded to multiple businesses. The other thing is teaming arrangements. Put together a group of companies and who as a whole can fulfill all of the requirements. Plus, there's nothing to say that you can't have subcontractors. There are requirements of how much of the work, depending on the type of work, that the awarded company is required to complete, but you can have subcontractors. And there's also joint ventures. You can enter into a joint venture with another company or companies to provide a whole solution.
Thank you. Well, I don't see another question, but I'll give them a little time. I have to say that this has been phenomenal in terms of the information that you've provided. And I'm guessing from some of the questions that there were a number of our participants today that are attendees that didn't necessarily know the services that are available to them through the PTACs. And hopefully now we'll be able to reach out to their local PTAC and get access to these resources and establish a relationship with you guys in terms of being able to enter into the government contracting space if they're not already in there. And let me just say that I really want to thank the Dayton Development Coalition for participating in it. And I know that they run a lot of programs also. But I'd like to say that if you don't take anything else away from this, that if you contact the PTAC or if you contact the Dayton Development Coalition and ask them how to find your PTAC, and at least familiarize yourself with what's available to you. Again, we have dealt with a number of these agencies, especially those that are located here, often. A couple of years ago, we did a aerospace event where we had the NASA headquarters based out of DC contact us to do a matchmaker, if you will. It was so much more than just a matchmaker, but to put together an outreach event for them, which we held in Athens at Ohio University. And they were blown away with the businesses, the diversity of the businesses in Ohio that turned out for this event. And I can't remember now the number of people that we had in attendance, but we held it over a day and a half. Was it a day and a half or 2 days, Sharon? But it was so successful that they modeled every other outreach event that they had throughout the country on the Ohio model. So the PTACs are, again, we're experts, we're specialists in government contracting. That is all we do, and that's all we want to help you to do. So please reach out and contact us. I hope that you took something from this event that's going to be positive for you. Again, if you aren't in the government contracting space, I hope that will allow you to at least explore the opportunities to do government contracting. So thank you, Jane. Thank you, Terrell. You guys were phenomenal. Thank you to Elaine and to Erica for bringing all of us together to provide this information to your client base. Thank you, Sharon, for hosting us, and Sharon Hopkins down at Ohio University, and obviously Jane and, or maybe not so obvious, but Jane and Terrell are part of the Ohio University PTAC network, and we have the Ohio PTAC at Youngstown State University, and we also have the Northwest Ohio PTAC down in Lima, and we're all here to assist you. If you can't find your PTAC for any reason, you can contact me directly. You can call me or you can email me. And of course, I probably didn't put my information in there, so I should probably do that before we end today. But I am available to direct you to your PTAC, to your local PTAC. And I can't talk and do this. So what is my number? I haven't used that in a long time. Is that right, you guys? 644-1637, is that my number?
I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. Haven't been in the office in over a year.
I know.
And here's my email also. Oops, no, it isn't. I am at sharon.smith@development.ohio.org, .gov. I really can't type and talk.
Yeah,
We have Elaine.
other things.
I'm sorry.
But you can do so many other things.
Yeah, I could sing and type, but that's in there. I don't know, Erica, if you want to put your email in there, like to put you on the spot like that.
Oh, she did.
There it is.
There's no problem there. Sorry, let me put that to the attendees too. I'm sorry, that was just for the panelists. You can connect.
So
with me.
again, I thank you all for attending. Hopefully, again, you got some value from this seminar. And if you don't do anything else, at least go on the website and keep track of the events. I'm sure that we might come up with a topic that is of interest to you, or we might do a how to do business with. We just did one up in Youngstown. I call it a mini matchmaker. So all of these events and all of the PTACs are constantly putting on training, webinars, assisting one-on-one with your business opportunities. And Dorinda Byers is there too. And Dorinda is at the heart of bringing this all up. And she's the associate director for the Central Ohio area, Ohio University PTAC at Columbus.
Thank you,
So-
Sharon. I'll put my information in the chat also.
Thank you. So Sheree says, thank you, PTAC team. Just want to let you know the profound impact you have on small businesses across the U.S. I learned my alphabets of federal contracting at PTAC centers. Thank you. And thank you, Sheree, for that acknowledgement. Well, we have reached the end of our time. So again, thank you all. And video recording will be available to you on the Ohio University PTAC. Thank you all for participating.
Thank you.